Linux is the operating system that runs the internet, powers the world's most critical infrastructure, and sits at the absolute center of every serious cybersecurity professional's toolkit. And it is also the operating system that penetration testers, ethical hackers, security researchers, and defensive security professionals overwhelmingly choose when they sit down to do their most technically demanding and consequential work. And the reason for that choice is not mysterious or complicated once you understand what Linux actually offers at a fundamental level. Compared to Windows and Mac, Linux gives you control. Complete, unrestricted, granular, transparent control over every single layer of what your system is doing, how it communicates with networks, what tools it runs, and how those tools behave at a deep technical level. And in the world of cybersecurity, whether you are on the offensive side testing systems for vulnerabilities or on the defensive side building protections against real attacks, control is absolutely everything. So today we're going through exactly how hackers and security professionals actually use Linux in their real daily work, which specific distributions they choose and precisely why they choose them, which categories of professional tools they run, how ethical hackers and penetration testers use those tools to find vulnerabilities before malicious actors can exploit them, and what understanding all of this deeply and specifically means for anyone building a serious career in cybersecurity or wanting to understand this field at a level most people never reach. This is exactly how it actually works, and every detail in this video is going to matter. Start with the foundational question of why Linux specifically and not Windows or Mac, because this is the bedrock that every other part of this conversation builds on, and the honest answer goes significantly deeper than most surface-level explanations ever take it. Professional security practitioners choose Linux for several powerful, interconnected reasons that reinforce and compound each other continuously. The first and most important is the command line interface and what it actually enables at a practical working level. Linux is architecturally built around a powerful command line that gives users direct, transparent access to system functions, network interfaces, file systems, running processes, and hardware in ways that Windows and Mac cannot match regardless of what workarounds you attempt. In professional cybersecurity work, the command line is not an inconvenience to be tolerated or avoided whenever a graphical alternative exists. It is the primary working environment because command line tools are faster in execution, more easily scriptable, more completely automatable, and more precisely controllable than any graphical interface alternative. A penetration tester who can chain together command line tools inside a well-constructed script can execute complex multi-step security assessments in minutes that would require hours of manual work. Through graphical interfaces, that speed and that precision matter enormously when you are working against real systems under real-time constraints. The second reason is the tool ecosystem, and this one is decisive. The overwhelming majority of professional cybersecurity tools are built for Linux first, and either ported imperfectly to other platforms much later, or never made available outside Linux at all. These tools were written by security researchers who live and work inside Linux environments, and they were written to run natively, efficiently, and completely on Linux systems. Trying to do serious professional security work without Linux is genuinely comparable to trying to be a professional surgeon without access to a proper operating room. You can approximate some things under limited conditions, but you are fundamentally and consistently constrained in what you can accomplish and how effectively you can accomplish it. The third reason is networking transparency. Linux provides security professionals with direct, low-level transparent access to network interfaces and network traffic in ways that Windows abstracts behind multiple software layers and actively restricts for stability and compatibility reasons. Understanding exactly what data is moving across a network at the packet level, capturing and analyzing that traffic in real time, crafting custom network packets with specific parameters, manipulating how your system appears on a network. All of these capabilities that are central to security work are more accessible, more powerful, and more reliable on Linux than on any alternative platform available today. Now, the specific Linux distributions that security professionals actually use in their real work. The most widely known and most extensively used security-focused distribution in the world is Kali Linux, maintained by Offensive Security, which is one of the most respected and credentialed organizations in professional penetration testing. Kali comes preloaded with over 600 security tools, covering every single category of security assessment work, from network scanning and vulnerability identification, through web application testing, wireless security assessment, password analysis, digital forensics, and reverse engineering. Kali is specifically engineered to be run from a USB drive for completely portable live use, installed as a dedicated primary operating system on assessment hardware, or deployed as a virtual machine running alongside another operating system for flexible integrated use. Its package repositories receive continuous updates, delivering the latest stable versions of security tools, and its documentation and community support resources are extensive and high quality. Parrot OS is a second distribution widely used across the security community, offering comparable security tool coverage to Kali, but with a meaningfully lighter system resource footprint that makes it particularly valuable on older hardware or in virtual machine environments where available resources are constrained. Parrot places additional emphasis on privacy and anonymization tools alongside security assessment tools, making it popular with researchers and professionals who prioritize strong operational security in their own working practices. BlackArch Linux serves the more technically advanced portion of the security community who prefer the Arch Linux Foundation and to require access to an even larger repository of specialized security tools than Kali's already substantial collection provides. Penetration testing, the professional practice of legally and ethically attempting to breach systems and applications to identify exploitable vulnerabilities before malicious actors discover and abuse them, follows a structured professional methodology, and Linux tools support every distinct phase of that methodology with purpose-built precision. The first phase is reconnaissance and information gathering before attempting to access any system. A professional penetration tester invests significant time collecting publicly available information about the target environment, mapping the complete attack surface, identifying exposed services and their configurations, and developing a comprehensive understanding of the technology stack they will be assessing. Nmap, which stands for Network Mapper, is the industry standard tool for this foundational phase. Nmap scans networks systematically to identify which hosts are active and reachable, which ports are open on each identified host, which services are running on those ports, and frequently which specific software versions are running those identified services. This detailed map is the foundation that every subsequent phase of the assessment builds on, because knowing precisely what is running and exactly where it is running is essential to identifying what might contain exploitable vulnerabilities. Nmap is completely free, fully open source, runs natively and powerfully on Linux, and is used by security professionals and organizations ranging from independent consultancies through major government security agencies worldwide. Shodan integration, OSINT framework tools, and Maltego complement Nmap's network-level reconnaissance with broader internet-facing exposure data and relationship mapping that builds a complete picture of the target before active testing begins. The second phase is vulnerability, identification, and systematic exploitation testing. Once the attack surface is mapped, penetration testers use specialized frameworks to identify which specific components contain known exploitable vulnerabilities. Metasploit is the central framework for this phase, and understanding how it works is essential cybersecurity knowledge. Metasploit contains a continuously maintained and updated database of known vulnerabilities paired with tested exploit code and payload options for assessing whether those vulnerabilities are present and exploitable in specific target systems and configurations. Professional penetration testers use Metasploit to methodically test identified systems against known vulnerability databases, document which weaknesses successfully demonstrates exploitability, and generate findings that inform the remediation recommendations delivered to clients. OpenVAS and Nessus complement Metasploit with automated vulnerability scanning across entire network ranges, providing broad initial coverage that targeted manual testing then validates and deepens. Web application security testing is one of the most critically in-demand specializations across the entire cybersecurity profession, because virtually every organization operates web-facing applications, and web applications consistently represent one of the largest and most frequently exploited attack surfaces in modern security environments. Burp Suite functions as a proxy between a tester's browser and a target web application, intercepting, inspecting, modifying, and replaying HTTP requests to systematically identify vulnerabilities, including SQL injection, cross-site scripting, authentication bypass weaknesses, insecure direct object references, and broken access control implementations. OWASP, ZAP, provides free open-source automated web application, vulnerability scanning capability widely used. For initial coverage before manual testing deepens findings. SQL Map automates detection and exploitation testing of SQL injection vulnerabilities specifically. Nikto scans web servers for dangerous files, outdated software versions, and common dangerous misconfigurations. These tools working together systematically provide comprehensive coverage of web application attack surfaces. Wireless security assessment is another domain where Linux's technical advantage is particularly pronounced and practically significant. Linux provides direct low-level access to wireless network hardware that Windows cannot match, enabling capabilities that require this hardware-level transparency. The Aircrack NG suite is the professional Standard for Wireless Network Security Assessment on Linux, providing tools for monitoring wireless traffic across all nearby networks, capturing authentication handshakes from target networks, testing encryption configuration strength, identifying networks with weak or misconfigured security implementations, and validating whether wireless infrastructure meets the security standards organizations need to maintain. Kismet provides complementary passive wireless network detection and monitoring capabilities that extend assessment coverage further. Digital forensics and incident response represent another domain where Linux tools are absolutely central to professional practice. When security breaches occur, organizations require professionals capable of analyzing compromised systems to determine exactly what happened, precisely how attackers gained initial access, what systems and data were accessed or exfiltrated, and what persistence mechanisms were established to maintain unauthorized access. Autopsy provides a comprehensive graphical digital forensics platform built on Linux for systematic forensic analysis of storage media and file systems. Volatility enables powerful memory forensics, allowing analysts to examine RAM contents to identify malicious processes, network connections, and artifacts existing only in memory. Wireshark captures and analyzes network traffic, enabling reconstruction of attacker activity from recorded network logs. The Sleuth Kit provides the underlying command line forensic analysis engine, supporting deeper file system investigation. Scripting and automation capability separates truly effective security professionals from beginners across every specialization. Bash scripting on Linux enables automation of repetitive assessment tasks, chaining of multiple tools into coherent, systematic workflows, and development of custom tooling for specific, unique assessment scenarios. Python is the dominant scripting language across the security community, and Python's extensive networking, cryptography, web interaction, and binary analysis libraries make it extraordinarily powerful for security tool development on Linux. A penetration tester writing custom Python automation, covering assessment phases specific to their engagement context, delivers deeper findings faster than someone relying exclusively on existing tools without customization capability. Building comfort with both Bash and Python scripting on Linux represents one of the highest return skill investments available to anyone building a serious cybersecurity career at any stage of their development. Understanding how security professionals actually use Linux is not optional knowledge for anyone pursuing cybersecurity work seriously. Defensive security requires deep understanding of offensive tools and techniques, because you cannot effectively defend against attacks you have never examined from the attacker's perspective. The most effective security professionals understand both sides of this field thoroughly and use that complete understanding to build defenses that address real attack methods rather than theoretical ones. Linux is where that understanding gets built, where professional tools run, and where the most consequential security work happening anywhere in the world gets done every single day. Install Kali in a virtual machine today, work through Nmap and Metasploit documentation in controlled legal lab environments, build your command line confidence systematically. That foundation will accelerate every other area of your security education more powerfully than almost anything else you can invest your time in right now.